A new report just released reveals something pretty horrific, just how dire the persecution situation is under the Iranian regime. We're watching insane protests unfold across that country. And let me tell you, this new report, Open Doors US's World Watch list, just dropped, just came out, and it told us that Iran is the 10th worst place in the world to be a Christian. That means persecution is the worst inside of that country. I want to read a quick line from this, and then Raj, Nair, I want to get your reaction. The report says Christians in Iran are heavily and systematically repressed as the authorities seek to root out what they see as a threat from the West to undermine their Islamic culture. Raj, Nair, what is your reaction to this report?
Well, it's not surprising, but I think your clarification was spot on. It's not just the worst, it's the worst persecution, because when it comes to the growth of the church, the underground church in Iran is absolutely exploding. I mean, it's going nuts. The numbers that we see, obviously can't be confirmed all the time, but the church in Iran is growing exponentially. And I think it's the more that you have that persecution is actually when the church thrives the most. But I also think talking about what's happening in Iran right now, I think it's incumbent upon us as believers in Yeshua, believers in Jesus, to pause and to pray and to ask God for wisdom and discernment of how to pray and also how to guard our hearts. There's just so much garbage online trying to muddy what's happening. And what is happening, what is happening is a brutal, evil Islamic regime is suppressing the Persian people, and the church is getting the brunt, not the brunt of it, but they're not being excluded from this horrific regime. And so the idea that this new report that just came out would showcase the fact that the Iranian church is the 10th most persecuted church in the world is not surprising. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, what are the other 9? And I think it's worth pointing out there's something in common with just about all of them. I'll read them to you. Number 10, Iran. Number 9, Libya. Number 8, Pakistan. Are we seeing a trend? Number 7, Nigeria. Number 6, Syria. Number 5, Eritrea. Number 4, Sudan. Number 3, Yemen. Any theme here? Number 2, Somalia. And number 1, North Korea, which doesn't follow the exact trend, but I think it's incumbent upon us as people, as Christians who are probably watching this somewhere in the UK, the United States, Canada, Australia, wherever you're watching this from. We have been blessed with such unbelievable freedom that we need to use our voices to speak up for those who can't speak up. And talking about what's happening in Iran, I did a video yesterday with a pastor, Billy, and I've talked about this, where he was in tears, I was in tears, just because what they're facing is unimaginable. But I think it's important for us always to go back to Scripture. And I look at John 15, verse starting at 18, just a couple lines. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would have loved you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Remember what I told you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teachings, they will obey yours also. And I find this line fascinating. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me, which is, I think, a line maybe for the Islamic regime in Iran. I also think it's kind of interesting that they said that this is the persecution of the church is some sort of like anti-Western plot, which is ironic because where Judaism and then eventually Christianity sprouted from is not any more West than Mecca is. It's all in the Middle East. It's all right there. And, the Middle East from Syria to Egypt was basically all Christian or, pagan until the invention of Islam in the 600s. So I think that there's just so much missing here, but I do believe that it is incumbent upon us and for anyone watching to pray for the church in Iran right now like we have never before.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I want to say this as well. People are asking a lot of questions. What's causing this? What's leading to it? Is it economic? Is it, we have to understand that the persecution piece, that's why this is so important, gives you a lens into what life is like inside Iran, right? When you don't have freedom of religion, when you don't have freedom of speech, when you have people being coerced and forced into really diabolical situations. Open Doors USA has a story about this woman, Shima, and she said a blank paper was put in front of her, and a deep voice said, if you write down here that you regret becoming a Christian, that you want to return to Islam, then we can help you avoid court. And she said that she kept silent for a moment and then calmly said, that's not a confession. That's a forced lie. I won't write down something I don't believe. And you hear that and you think the amount of courage it takes to live your faith out like that in an environment that is systematically, this is bone chilling evil, is what is going on there in Iran. And it needs to be called out, but it helps us understand why the people are rising up, but it also helps us understand the courage it takes to do that. And just to mention one more thing before we close out here, because this is also important, converts to the faith are they're the people who are most targeted, the people who go from Islam to Christianity. And so there's a spiritual element to this that must be understood, because that bone chilling evil is driven by truly a demonic, persistent, vile behavior that, we need to fight in the material, but we need to pray through it in the spiritual.